feeling golden, lost in the moment. It's taking over me. Keep your composure, you know that I want ya. Can you just hold that beat? Just let the lights up, baby. Let it go. In the nighttime, baby.
Hey guys, good afternoon. We are back from our break. It's Chat GTM back in effect, and we are here with the one, the only Gregg Majewski, CEO of Craveworthy Brands, and a laundry list of brands that live underneath that. Most notably and most recently, at least from my limited experiences, the acquisition or partnership with Big Chicken, right?
Yep.
That is amazing. So Gregg, thank you for spending your time with us today, coming on the show and sharing a little bit of about your world with our audience. Thank you so much.
For sure. Glad to be here. Excited. Big Chicken was an obviously fabulous deal. I'm thrilled to have it in the portfolio.
So tell me about that, or tell us about that. So M&A is always an interesting thing when you look at what's out in the marketplace, what are potentially attractive IP or businesses you'd like to invest in. How do you look at that? Like when you're deciding what you want to put your time and your investment in, what do you look at? What are the kind of attributes for restaurant brands or brands that might be acquired?
I mean, right now I look at it completely different than I would have in a good market.
Sure.
So in a good market, you're looking at, does the brand make money? Does the brand have scalability? What's the pipeline like?
Right.
Now, the economy sucks and restaurants are struggling.
Yeah.
PE groups are fed up with their funds. They want to get out. And so now I'm looking at it as how many brands or how much IP can I put under the roof at one time? And that's a change from what our original sort of mantra was. We wanted to buy great brands that we could grow with, that we could scale with. Now we're moving, let's take gambles on some IP, bring them into the house and see which one's going to hit. And in 2017, when I put this idea together, I never would have said that's what I would be doing.
Right.
But I also never would have thought we'd have a recession, COVID, great times, and then all of a sudden crap.
Yeah.
And so we have to be nimble in what we're doing. So now we're just looking at great IP.
Okay.
You know, so something that may or may not have great management, I don't care if it's poorly ran, is the IP, is the idea behind what they're doing scalable? And then let's take a gamble and see what happens. And, you know, I've gone from buying a brand for $1 to buying a brand for, you know, multiple millions, you know, of dollars, tens and twenties of millions of dollars. So it all depends on where we want to see and what the brand is worth to us today. So it's all over the place.
So if I had to break this down, I'm trying to value, all right, what are the measures that result in success? You could look at this through the lens of, you do a good job of reading the market like you're talking about and figuring out what kind of moves make sense based on the macro. Your success could come from like really evaluating the brands you're looking to partner with and acquire. It could come down from, you know, executing them well. It could be all of this, or it could be even the art of the deal, or rather the art of the meal. Where do you focus your majority of your attention to really make sure you're doing it right?
Well, and, I mean, you brought up art of the deal. And one of the things in that book is you're going to fail. Not every deal you're going to make is going to work out.
Sure.
And so we took the same sort of mantra with this, is that we know that not every brand we acquire is going to scale.
Yep.
It may not happen. And so I get asked all the time, how are you going to make all these successful? I'm not. They're not all going to be successful. Some of these are going to come in, we're going to try.
Yeah.
Crap, this is not what I thought it was going to be. We got to get the hell out.
Sounds like the scared money doesn't make money philosophy. You got to do something. You got to be a little bit brave, right?
And so you got to sort of jump in and see, and you don't know, hey, Big Chicken, everything about that should point to a home run.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, everything. Well, it may be that there's just too many chicken concepts out there, and it's another one out there, and it never can get to where it needs to be. Now, I wouldn't bet on that with that one.
Right.
But you don't know. The consumer decides which brands hit in that industry.
Sure.
I may think I have the greatest brand in the world, and the consumer walks in and be like, hey, the food's really good, but it's not really cult following.
Yeah.
Well, hey, then get the hell out. And too many of us in the industry, especially the people that have one brand, you live and die with that one brand.
Yep.
Here, I don't live and die with any one.
Mindset.
I live and die with them as a collective group, and the collective group has got to perform. And if one is weighing us down, hopefully 3 or 4 are bringing us up during the time of a downturn.
Yep.
And then it always flips and flops. And if you have the holding power, you can keep them all. And if not, you get rid of the biggest dollars. It also, in the restaurant industry, how many of us hold on to restaurants when they're not making money? You know,
Yeah.
because you're afraid of the lease.
Yep.
Shut down the damn thing.
Was pulling you down,
Right. It's like
limb, you got to cut it.
finding cure for a cancer when
Yeah.
you get out of a bad store. Yes, you
Yep.
may have to pay a landlord a year. Whoopee.
Yep.
It's way better than losing rent plus.
Right.
You know, 1 year you're feeling great, but in this industry, we don't do that.
Right.
And it's part of my mindset that's different is that I am, and I had started as a finance, like that's my background. So I look at things through a different lens than just a restaurant operator. I'm a restaurant operator, born and raised, learned how to do it, love it, but I'm still a mathematical business person.
Yeah.
So I was joking with my team this morning. We're a finance company as much as we are a restaurant company.
Sure.
Right.
And now we have to start making those decisions. And that's why we can jump the other way.
Right. So where was your first one? What gave you the bug? What was your first restaurant you're in? Was it a family restaurant? Was it one you acquired? Or like how'd you start just in the food world?
So when I was in college, I was stupid. My parents took me off
None of us were.
and I had to find a way to survive.
Yeah.
And so working in restaurants put me through college.
Okay.
And I swore to God I would never be in this industry ever. And I was on my way
Godfather.
to go do forensic tax accounting with Arthur Anderson. And out of the blue, a guy by the name of Jimmy called and changed my life forever. And I ended up going to Jimmy John's. You know, joined him when there was 24 restaurants, became CEO at 30, built that company over 300 and 700 sold by the time I left. And
Wow.
I've never left this industry since.
Wow.
That is amazing. And so when you were told, so now flash forward, you acquire Big Chicken, or you're working with Big Chicken. What are the nuances that you might not expected by having such an iconic person in the mix as Shaquille O'Neal that's tied to this brand? Because you're talking really two pieces of IP here, right? You got the brand of Shaquille and the brand of Big Chicken. How's that play?
So, I mean, I don't give a crap. And Shaq, I'm going to apologize now,
Sorry.
but I really don't give a shit.
Okay.
We do what's
love
right
this.
for the brand and the brand first.
yeah.
The brand identity has to go first. And Shaq is part of that DNA and part of that excitement, but he should be part of the journey, not the brand.
Is it a negotiation point though?
So
Celebrity?
it's a decision point for the consumer. This brand was created with Big Chicken, and yes, it's Shaq's overarching business, but he never wanted to be the face. And so we needed to move away and make sure the brand stood on its own, and then used him properly to drive traffic. Our franchisees in this brand think, oh my God, Shaq is
Right.
it's a Shaq brand. I should
Yeah.
be making millions of
And
dollars
he's in the
because of-
POS. He looks out at you when you're on.
I should be making all this money. But
Yeah.
we're getting access to a man that does not charge us for advertising.
Mm.
He does all of that for free.
Wow.
And he posts and talks and shares, and that is what we get from him.
Yeah.
He's our best ambassador. He will do whatever we ask. He is all about us being involved now, but he really wants it to stand on its own and stay generational.
Good for him.
And so to do that, the brand's got to be special on its own. And I think it can be, and it is. The food's outstanding. The atmosphere is fun, and you can have all this with him being tied in, but him as a figure and a marketer more than him being the brand.
Yeah.
Because then people will come back.
Yeah.
So when you look at their data, and this is what we sort of found, is that when they first opened, they have stores coming from people who are driving 45 minutes to an hour and a half to go to a restaurant.
Wow.
Who the hell
for
drives
serve?
45 minutes to go and listen to Big Chicken?
The
Why would you
Michelin
go and
star,
eat that?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It doesn't make absolutely any sense. But yet they did it because of the Shaq's name. Great. What happens after that? You're not driving 45 minutes again to get a chicken sandwich.
No.
You're just not. So we saw this in our sales. So how do you maintain this from the high? He gets a one-time
Yeah.
trial, and people come in all the time, but he doesn't get a lifelong trial. The
Sure.
brand's got to stay on its own. So the identity, the marketing, the fun, the taste of the food, the affordability, the portability, all that still has to happen.
Then in 50 years, Shaq might not be as impactful as an ambassador. In reality, everybody kind of fades over time. And this is the
Right.
truth, all of us.
Well, I mean,
you know?
And you can't build on any of them because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if all of a sudden he's going to do something and get himself in trouble. Now he won't, but you don't know. You just don't know that. So the brand's got to be big enough without him. But yet, why he's kicking ass, you want to use that to build your sales,
Right,
to build it something special, and use him fun and where he's supposed to be, but don't make him the linchpin on why you come in.
That's a critical dependency you can't risk.
Nope.
That's awesome.
So, Greg, we've talked to a lot of people this week that will have 15 or more pieces of technology in their tech stack. And I'm curious as a finance guy, how do you think you view technology that might be a little bit different than most operators?
So I think tech is a wonderful, necessary evil.
Sure.
Now, what we talk about in this industry there was no tech. We were in the dark ages until COVID.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, because of COVID, tech is everywhere.
Yeah.
And every one of us wants the new shiny thing, but we don't even know what the hell the new shiny thing does fully before we're signing up for the next thing. And so I'm a big proponent of finding your 3 or 4 major pieces and then fully baking them out and getting in with them on what's down the path and what's coming and seeing where you can grow with them instead of just signing the next new shining piece. So walking through the halls at RLC, I am the absolute worst person to come up to because it's there's this great inventory system that's very cool.
Sure.
And, they're taking inventory on the shelves and it's all through AI.
They're our friends.
The guy looked at me and he said, you need to do this. And I said, you're too new. And he goes, we're in Starbucks. I'm like, you're in a test in Starbucks and that hasn't proven out yet. And, so talk to me when you actually get to scale and I'm not the guinea pig. And he goes, why? You should be taking advantage of it now. I said, I can't. My franchisees can't take another add-on today. And in all honesty, someone like Restaurant 365 or somebody that's bigger with the accounting man, it's going to end up buying them and it's going to be part of my system anyways. Just sort of ride it out.
Sure.
I want to get you a shirt for the marketplace where you wear it says, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I sort of had that reputation.
Just make the face like... well, it's also like there's a running gag that we started telling lately is, in some of the other trade shows, you see 3% back on food, 3% back on later. At some point, somebody's going to hand you a check if all that's true. Right? Like, here, don't.
But it's not.
No, it's not. Right? So there's a lot of diminishing returns on these things.
Every piece of software that tells you they're going to save you money, they don't. Money just gets reallocated somewhere else. Restaurants have screwed up hospitality where we've taken so much out that the second we save something, we got to put it back in.
Sure.
And that doesn't mean that they're saving you $1 and financially they're not.
Yeah.
But you've got to invest back into how can you build hospitality back to what the restaurant industry is supposed to be.
Before all that stuff existed.
And the issue that we have right now is that we have a value prop problem in this industry. And that value prop is we've taken hospitality and what made this industry special, we've taken it out. So now you can cook at home and have the same crappy experience as you can when you walk into a restaurant. An angry chef, an angry mom and dad cooking that throws the food on the table because they're in a hurry and it saves them a couple bucks. Where you go into a restaurant, you went in because you got an experience. You had a great meal, fast, easy, whatever. It was fun. But you felt warm and friendly and someone took care of you and smiled at you and made you feel good for choosing to sit down or have that meal.
Right.
That is not our industry right now.
No.
Our industry is, here you go, here's your food and get the hell out. And that's why we're struggling. We have allowed ourselves to be no more special than eating at home or going to the grocery store and having the butcher grill your steak so you can eat it at home. I mean, who ever thought that would replace a restaurant experience?
Yeah.
You just reminded me of this restaurant in Chicago that is actually known for room service.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And they do it on purpose because people actually
correct.
But that's not everywhere else.
No, but I mean, this industry is about that.
Yeah.
And it's about, you got to save people money. You have to have a value and we're not value anymore. The restaurant industry can't be value because the pricing is, you have to find value by how you offer your service and what you provide.
Right.
And that's our value prop. It's not cheapen the price. It's maybe create something that is a great entry point so they can feel special and have a value. But the value comes in that whole experience. It's the packaging. It's the how you're treated. And we joked all the time at Jimmy John's, you know, we have a blowaway greeting and a great farewell, but we always said you got to hit them on the ass when they walk out the door so they feel good. And it's one of those things that we really meant, because you've got to truly thank them for walking in. And that's the same thing that we've lost. How many times do you actually go to a restaurant, any restaurant, and feel like they appreciate you for coming in?
It's not that often anymore.
You know, and so why are our sales down?
Yeah, well,
It's
that's,
real
that's a
simple.
training issue, though, right? In a big way, it's a part of a training issue, isn't it?
It's because we've cut everything out because we can't afford to spend that. So we've cheapened the amount of people that are in the kitchen, and we're asking them to do more, and we're taking that away. So now they're frustrated and people are mad, and you've got third party and everything else coming in. And so you just have this angry opinion, and your staff is overwhelmed because you can't afford enough to spend staff.
Right.
So spend the money there instead of that next piece of technology that may save you what they say is 3%. Invest where you need to be, and then watch your sales grow.
Yeah, the back of the napkin math on 16 pieces of tech at $100 a month a piece. That's $1,600 a month, right?
I'd be 30% profit if everything they said is true.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
we're not making 30%.
So something's wrong with the math.
Very.
God.
Often people just need to invest in another body on the floor.
That the most important thing you can invest in is keeping your food. Don't cheapen your food because you got to cut food costs. When you build a brand, people build the brand for what the brand is. So if it's big chicken, you got to be big chicken. If you're name yourself Little Chicken, then be Little Chicken. But it's big chicken, so you've got to be big chicken. So you pay for that.
Yep.
But then how do you make sure that's the value prop for your franchisee? Provide the service, provide the atmosphere, and provide a place where they're going to have something that's memorable.
You know, it's funny, Greg. We've had about 20 of these since we've been here. And almost all of them were centralized around the technology, and almost all of them, not being mean to our guests, very few of them actually talked about their food. They talked about their people, but we'd actually have to ask them about their food to bring out, because it's always very technology forward. And this isn't a tech show. It just happens to be a leadership conference where it's tech heavy. When you look at all the solutions that people are pitching at you, like, for example, Josh Halpern and I and Sam were out one night for dinner, and Josh was griping that, you know, I put out the shout on LinkedIn, said anybody that could put Shaq's voice in a box right now, I'll do business with, right? And 10 companies or so called up Josh, and none of them had it. They just want to talk and see where it went. What's your view on the shiny object versus what's actually out there that's going to be impactful, like the AI conversation, that kind of thing? And now you spent some time on the food and the experience. What is your opinion on those things that the AI might bring? Because it is a sensitive subject right now. Right?
AI is wonderful in the fact that it will help get tasks done that your managers hate doing. So AI being used for those type of things, I'm okay with, as long as your managers still know how to do it and what the results they're being given actually mean.
That's a pretty strong point.
That does not happen with what's out there. It basically makes your GMs and your managers stupid because they no longer understand the numbers or the importance of what they're doing. They're looking at something else, and you're now dependent on this other thing. You lose the buy-in from these individuals to be more than a manager. They're now just a sort of a robot that follows orders. Instead, your GM should be your operating partners,
removed,
and they have to be in tune to everything and know. So as they know how to do it, and they're only using it to speed it up. AI is wonderful.
So part of that AI pitch sometimes as well, your managers don't have the experience. So it's not that you're making them stupid. They're never going to have to learn.
Your load balance by tenure.
So you're allowing a lesser employee to run multi-million-dollar investments because you want to save a couple bucks in the training aspect of someone who's supposed to be an operating partner.
Yeah.
When you put a GM in place, they are not just your manager. They are your operating partner. They're the face of your business. They have to be empowered to do what the restaurant needs to do. They have to be empowered to lead that four walls to success. And if you dumb them down to a point where they don't have to do anything, you're not going to get those great individuals into your restaurants.
They're not going to be able to see the opportunity.
And if you don't bonus them properly, if you don't motivate them through, all that, make them a true operating partner, you get bad results. And so if you're paying them like your operating partner, you can go and get the college kid to be a GM. You can go and get people into this industry. But we forget that this is a career, and we're not making it careers anymore. We're allowing the restaurant industry to just become the second and third level jobs. Instead, you can go and get great talent from the restaurant and the finance and the management and the hotel industry and all that into our world again if you treat them right.
Right.
And if you pay them right, if you educate them, if you train them, and if you give them advancements.
So to that point, the culture of Craveworthy Brands around that dotted line to the next step, or to developing them as being a better professional, or maybe some sense of ownership in the business. What is that opportunity for people that are thinking about working in your business?
So we joke, and I get sometimes a little emotional about it, but my job is to create millionaires.
Yeah.
And I take great pride in the fact that I want every person that comes into my organization to have an opportunity to become a millionaire. And maybe $1 million isn't as big as it used to be when we did this, but I want them to have an opportunity to be a franchise owner, go into business for themselves, and have the opportunity to create generational wealth through my company. And that's each and every one of them. So when you come in, you have a path to be able to do that. You have a path to grow in the company. You have a path to go up. If you get to a point where there's someone above you that's not going to go, we'll tell you it's time to go somewhere else for that advancement. We will let you go, and I will help you find that job.
Okay.
So you can go out. If my senior VP of ops, who will never leave, but let's say she comes to me and says she has an opportunity, she wants to be a CEO, and someone is offering her CEO, I would go and give her a giant hug and say, you should take the job. And I would help you find that job if that's where she wants to go. But that's my job. My job is to make sure my people continue to go and have their dreams. They achieve their dreams. If you want to be a CEO, I'll help you be a CEO. You want to go and be the next great CMO, I'll help you find that position. If you want to go and own your restaurant, I will help you get one. I mean, right now we're in the process of putting a GM where I'm funding him to buy a franchise that I want to flip over. I'm giving him the loan to go and buy the business, because I want him to have that opportunity to achieve what he'll never achieve without it.
And would you be an equity partner with him? You're helping share the business there?
He's taking a straight loan and he'll pay me back. And
that's awesome.
The guy busted his butt for me and did everything we asked, and was one of the first ones to believe in what we were doing.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity in his town to buy something at one of our brands. I'm like, here, I'll be your bank. And he's now going to go and be a franchise owner, which is what I want. That's what I want to see.
Wow.
I feel like you just restored a balance in the force based on all the tech-heavy conversations. And you're bringing a wisdom to this that others may not have today.
I mean, there's a lot of people in this industry that feel the way I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Alexander is the absolute best at it. Andre Veneer and my group of friends, we all think sort of the same way.
Yeah.
And we all try to do it. We all have been in the industry. We've been burned. We've been working hard, and we're old school in the fact that we've been around the people that educated the right way of doing it.
Right.
And if when in every industry, history is there for a reason. You learn from them, you cherish them, and you make yourself better because of them. And the industry doesn't need a complete reset. It needs small resets every little bit of the time with great tech and great new ideas to help you push. Too much at one time tends to wreck stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my other businesses, we're a manufacturing company that my dad started and my brother's running. But again, same thing. The tech comes out so fast. Now we have robots running machines, and we have a hard time. We ask ourselves why we can't find, machinists anymore. Well, we've all canceled them out, because why would they come do it? Because a robot can replace them. There's issues here. We're not going to find cooks if we put robots everywhere.
Right.
That's true. It's all, the people have to be at the forefront of this, because no matter what, they need jobs, they need places to work. People like to be helped by people, have human experiences. There's only so much automation anybody wants to suffer, unless it's purely transactional, right? It seems like you have a balance there, right? And before any of this stuff happened, we were able to do all of this. We might not be as profitable, but we could run businesses pretty effectively. And you mentioned before, that managers getting stupid or not learning enough to become what they're supposed to be.
Them when they should.
Well, it's like, my wife's pissed at me because I don't know her phone number. It's in my phone. I don't dial it. I don't know it from my heart. We used to know how to get around with the paper map. Now people can't find their way anywhere.
Kids are so bad.
Yeah, right.
Where are we going? You've been here 4 times. You pay attention
Yeah, we used to
to your
do math.
surroundings.
We don't do math anymore. You know, like if your store shuts down, can they still ring up an order?
Who?
If you don't have a POS, can your staff run a transaction? They can do the math and take care of it,
Yes.
tax all that. Because that's literally, I've been so many places like, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Just look at me right in the face. I'm like, there's people back there. I smell hot food, but you're not going to sell me anything.
So, and when we can't, they're instructed to just give it away till it comes back up.
Oh, wow.
So,
Rather a happy guest than a
Yes.
dissatisfied customer walking away and telling
Mhm.
people.
yep. So our policy is if we can't ring up and we can't go down and we're open trying to fix a problem during that time, everyone eats for free until it's fixed. It's a
So-
hell of a lot easier than having an upset guest.
Inside tip. Knock off the power and then go in and maybe take your order and then come back. So you heard it here first. No.
Oh, geez.
Well, no, don't do any of that.
That's going to be on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm not.
At
screwed.
100%. And you can do that because it would make a great TikTok and I'd probably do great because of it. I may do it on purpose now.
He's like, Clunk. I love
I know marketing idea. Right
Wow.
here on the pod.
So you're here now today. You're going to be pressing across the country. What are the big things that are happening for Craveworthy now? What's next?
I mean, right now, because of the way the economy is, I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Originally, our 7-year plan was casual dining in 7 years.
Yep.
We know that's going to move up now, so we'll have an announcement in a couple weeks of our first casual dining concept.
Oh, wow.
We are negotiating with a second one right away, so we will hopefully have a footprint in that arena earlier than what we thought. But again, the market is right to do these things.
There's always an opportunity in every moment
right.
for everybody. You just have to know where it
And
is.
then we're going to look at some consolidations. So we're like brands, we're going to start trying to acquire and merging them together to get a bigger square footage and a bigger coverage across the country. So those are the new things that we're doing.
Anything international? You guys are you jumping over to Dubai with
So-
the folks? Like what's going
So
on with
the-
your projects?
The nice thing with having Shaq, international is a must. And
Yeah.
it's something that will drive us a lot faster. So we do have deals on the table for some international deals. We have deals with negotiating with people bringing our brands to China. So, I mean, there's things out there that we're going to move at a much quicker point. But again, in 2.5 years, so 2 years, 4 months, that's all Craveworthy's been around. I mean, to be this size in that amount of time,
Yeah.
I have no clue what's going to be next because I didn't expect to be here this fast.
Yeah.
You know, we set the goal of that $1 billion of sales in 5 years, and everyone looked at me like I was absolutely nuts. Why would you go to press and give people that to throw at you?
Call the shot.
And it's calling the shot. It's also making sure your team knows that where you really think it can
Yeah.
be. And my job is to make them believe where we can go. We may not get there, but if I set a goal of 300 million, 300 doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah, you might have a 250. You shoot for the stars, land on the moon.
But $1 billion at that time of a new company sounds like, okay, they're going to really go hard.
Yeah.
This is somewhere I want to be.
Clarify.
And it allows the people on the team or the brands that we are bringing in to get excited because
Yeah.
they know the journey and that they're part of us getting there. And so that goal, hey, we may get to 800 million. That may be the number. That's freaking outstanding.
Right.
You know, but yet I just failed my goal. But yet the goal is then what's the next goal? I mean, and so we have to continue in this industry to change it and set it. And also remember that our job is to make the next generation better
Mhm.
and make them, you know, be interested in this and then take it the next step. Dave Thomas was great to me when he took me under his arm, and
Oh, you knew Dave Thomas?
his only promise of me when he was mentoring me is that as I got to a point, give back like I gave back to you. And, you know, and I always joked, I'm not where that yet. I'm not him by any means, but I'm starting to realize what he means now. Like, if I can help someone else get to that next level,
Yeah.
spending the 10 minutes that he spent with me every 2 weeks when he called,
Yeah.
you know, was life changing.
Yeah.
I can help someone get to their next step when they're struggling and grow.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this industry so special, is that everybody is always willing to help each other and give advice and be there if you're willing to ask. And so many of us have always been afraid to ask for help
Yep.
and support each other because, oh, he's a competitor.
Oh, he's too busy or whatever.
What this industry really is that it is hospitable. And if you ask somebody to help you or give you advice, 9 out of 10, they're going to do it. And the one that doesn't, let me know who, because I want to make sure that we
right in the
go from there.
Let that be a warning thing.
So I have one more question before we wrap up. I'm sure Chad does too, but Chad's a dad. I'm a dad. You're a dad. And you talk about empowering the next generation. Are the Majewski kids on the line of sight for joining the business? Is something they're interested in? I talked to my son about what we do. He's like, eh.
So my older son does not want me to know, but he is restaurant hospitality at DePaul right now. And he was doing the tours of schools and the restaurants and all that in his class. And the class did a segment where they were talking about Jimmy John's and my time and what I did. And my son puts his hat down. He doesn't want them to know. 21.
Okay.
And puts his hat down. He does not want to be known as my kid in the school because it will, and puts it down and goes. And then he goes into a restaurant and someone kept coming up to him, all these managers and all that. Hey, tell your dad hi, tell your dad hi. And the teacher finally looked at him the one day and said, who the hell is your dad? And the manager looked at him and said, his dad is Gregg. He's the old Jimmy John's CEO and all this.
Yeah.
And the teacher looked at my son and said, you
you
didn't want to bring that up when we were talking about him? And he goes, no, I want to make it on my own. So the manager told the teacher, hey, I will make sure Gregg goes to your class every year. He'll come in and speak. He'll give back. If his son doesn't want it to be known, please don't tell anyone. And so I got a phone call from the manager who did this. And he goes, just so you know, you got to speak at DePaul every year for a while. I'm like, okay.
No, but good for your son though, wanting to do it on his own credit. I mean, that's amazing. You know, some folks are just, it's my dad. The prince walks in. Like, you gotta be so proud of that fact.
By using my name, which is good. My name may be worthless one day, so it may be better.
But that takes a lot of integrity and guts and backbone to think that way, and that means there's probably going to be another Gregg type Majewski coming from your line, right?
He has the leadership and the personality and connection with people.
Yep.
More so than I even do. Like he gets them and understands them as more helpful.
Yeah,
I can be an asshole. Like I admit it, I can be. I'm
Sure.
a numbers person. I can be that. He just has the heart that in the ops world, he can be special if he puts it to good use.
Well, to button this up, what do you travel a lot? We were talking about that earlier. What do you find valuable about going to so many shows?
So when you come to the shows, it's 100% about networking. Again, my wife laughs at me because, I watched the Masters on Sunday, came in early.
Yep.
And then yesterday we didn't really do anything all day until the show started.
Yeah,
Just working real hard, aren't you? And I'm like, it's all about the network.
Yes.
It's about the fact that
it's networking.
Right. But it's the connections that I had and the couple meetings and then the introductions. And then, hey, he may be looking to sell. He may be asking for help.
Yeah.
I got so many great leads not doing work. But that's the part of the deal. It's who can help you and find something. And then you can always learn something from somebody that's at them. So actually walk into the rooms. Don't spend your entire time in the hallways. Don't spend the entire time too good to go in and listen to someone else. Everybody in this industry you can learn from. So if you actually take that time to walk into the rooms, sit down and listen, you don't have to stay for the whole thing, bounce between rooms, but you can get something out of each and every one of the speakers that are up there because they're doing something you're not. Even if it's you think it's identical, it's not. It's different. And you may find something to better yourselves to that next level.
And on top of that, you never know who you're going to be sitting next to.
Correct.
Right?
Ever.
10-foot rule. Talk to these people around you. You're going to get something too. Wow. Gregg, this is honestly my favorite segment we did this show. Like you opened up about some really cool stuff. I revered you before I met you. I respect you now I talked to you. I think you're absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
No, everything. I did not expect this conversation. You're amazing. I mean,
I said, well, just go off the cuff.
yeah,
It's
no,
easy.
this is great. No, this is absolutely great. I would love to do this again at some point.
Anytime.
Or you're a fantastic guest. we're already fans of your brands.
Thank you.
Yeah. So no, but thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, the best conversations are when you don't have a script.
Oh.
And when you just talk about whatever
100%.
and just go. And that's what makes these special. And, you know,
Otherwise, it's a big commercial. Nobody wants to listen to a commercial.
and that's the part I hate. If you're going to do this, got to make sure someone gets something out of it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why we say a couple of points. We don't
Right.
no scripting, but
I could have given you all kinds of stuff, stats, why you should invest, be a franchisee, but that's not the point of this.
right, pound your
Right.
chest, like
Right.
no. This was the best capper. You were the last one, and you were I'll say for you were the best.
Jeff, you heard that.
Face. Anyway, so yeah, so now we're gonna have a dueling banjo between Greg and Jeff, and so next time I want Jeff to come on and do a hip hop rap freestyle. Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Greg. Really,
It's a pleasure.
Honestly.
All right.
So, guys, thank you for joining us here for our final episode of Chat GTM here at the Restaurant Leadership Conference, featuring Mr. Gregg Majewski, Craveworthy Brands, and a number of amazing concepts underneath that. It's been great to be able to tell our stories here, but it's even better, it'd be more fun and more. I can't even talk. I'm so flustered to be able to talk to somebody like this. This is what it's all about. This is hospitality. This is making it down to the bare bones of what we're supposed to be doing, creating these experiences, caring about people, giving a path. Like you represent all of that. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you guys very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
I'm feeling golden, lost in the moment. It's taking over me. Keep your composure, you know that I want ya. Can